Hello and welcome to That Shooting Show. My name's Steve Anderson. I am your humble host. Want to let you know we are a proud service of Walther Firearms. Once again, the PDP steel frame match pistol continues to be the best firearm of its type on the planet. If you don't like it, it'll be your fault, but it won't be your problem. Walther's going to give you your money back and send you on down the road to light strikes, bad magazines, broken slide stops, double action decock and DQs. It'll be a mess, but you'll get your money back and you can do whatever you want to. Also, Vortex is the optic that rides on the slides of all of the AndersonShooting.com guns. It's amazing. We got the new Defender XL running. That's running great. We got the 8, we got the 5, we got the red, we got the green. We'll be doing some testing here very shortly on all of those things, but the Vortex warranty is second to none. It's kind of like the Walther warranty, right? If you back over it with your truck, they don't care about your luck. They're just going to send you a new optic, and off the road down you go. So, Targets USA, as you know, manufactures the finest steel targetry on the planet. CR Speed makes the finest gun handling gadgetry that you can wrap around your waist or anywhere else. Hunter's HD Gold is the only eyewear that I wear, and I am unaware of any other eyewear that I ever wear. And the AMG-Lab.com Command and Timer continues to blow heads and turn minds. Wait a second, we got to go back. Okay, remember, every AndersonShooting.com class comes with a $200 voucher for Hunter's HD Gold. Rewind, scrub it back. Every AndersonShooting.com class comes with a $200 voucher for Hunter's HD Gold products. Okay? I need you to internalize that. Okay, while you're doing that, OutdoorDynamics.net remanufactures the finest competition ammunition you can dispense from a Freedom Seed dispenser. Shooting Sports Innovations is a lot to type because there's a lot to see. And Keita Bussey from 180 Firearms Training is now my personal coach as I journey down the road, as I make it inevitable, the rank of grandmaster and steel challenge. She's working with me on vision. She's working with me on injury prevention. And for sure, the one stage that has movement, we get to that, that's going to be something special because we'll be able to do it the 180 Firearms Training way. Now, speaking of that, Keita and I just got done doing a class in Florida, and I have to tell you what happened. What happened was we did part 1 as an experiment, and then we did part 2, and all of the sudden, everybody else had some place to be, except for Jeff Suero and Gavin Butera. Now, Jeff Suero and Gavin Butera showed up. They said, oh, you guys are going to come do this thing. We want to come do this thing. So their class turned into 2 days of one-on-one with Keita Bussey and Steve Anderson, the two premier experts in their respective field. And we worked with them for 2 days. And here's what happened. There was a match held recently in Florida. Okay? And I want to tell you that Jeff Suero and Gavin Butera won Carry Optics. They were Carry Optics 1 and Carry Optics 2 within 1% of each other. They are A-class shooters. They also beat every open shooter shooting minor. They also shot within Tom Castro, who is a PCC Grandmaster and World Shoot contender. So I'm going to go over this one more time. Okay? The only 2 people on the planet who have had both days of the Keita Bussey and Steve Anderson combo class did that. Obviously, they won Carry Optics. Okay? But did you hear me when I said that they beat all of the open shooters and that they were within 5% of a PCC Grandmaster shooting Carry Optics? So 2 A-class Carry Optics shooters came within 5% of a PCC Grandmaster. After 2 days, half with Steve Anderson, half with Keita Bussey. Okay? Half of it is movement and math. The other half is shooting mechanics and the mental game. So we are going to be doing more of these in the future. If you want to do some of that, let me know, steve@andersonshooting.com. I want to let you know that Keita has a class coming up in Alberta, Canada, May 17th and 18th. Okay, and you can email her 180firearmstraining@gmail.com if you want a signed copy of her book Smart Move, or if you want a video review. It's 180firearmstraining@gmail.com. Now, I want to tell you about the real secret to winning. And the caveat is you're probably not going to do it. You clicked on this because it said the real secret to winning, and you're looking for predictive shooting. You're looking for grip. You're looking for gear. You're looking for drills. But the thing I'm going to tell you to do, you're probably not going to do. And that's okay, because when you get stuck in the middle of the pack, I will be here waiting to show you how to do it correctly. Now, the reason I call it the real secret to winning is very simple. When I went to go see Laney Basham to get certified to teach mental management, he gave me a bunch of files, and I went through very intensive training, and then I went home. And then I'm going through all my files, organizing my stuff, and I see a file called The Real Secret to Winning. Now, Lanny did not tell me about this file. Lanny did not say, hey, Steve, by the way, I put in there a little Easter egg for you. I put in there a little file called The Real Secret to Winning. Now, I'm not going to tell you about it. No, see, none of these things happened. I just got home and I'm going through so this is the most money I've ever spent, and I didn't get a vehicle to drive home. Normally, when I spend 5 figures, I get a vehicle to drive off the lot. In this case, I did not. I got a thumb drive. But I also got the endorsement of Lanny Basham to teach his life's work. So I would rather have a thumb drive and the endorsement of Lanny Basham than a nice used car. Okay? And the real secret to winning is Lanny's son, Troy, talking about the journal. So I watched it. And I became a little bit of a believer. And what's interesting is this, I actually got the timeline wrong. I didn't see this file right away. I was already teaching the classes, and thank you for the opportunity to clarify because now I'm remembering a little bit better. I was already doing the classes before I found the file. And then I found the file and watched it, and I became a believer. And of course, we're talking about the Mental Management Performance Analysis Journal. And I see you. You're already rolling your eyes. You're already, here we go again with the journal. Would you just let it go? You know what that sounds like? It sounds like a guy in the middle of the pack. That's what that sounds like. It sounds like a guy who thinks he knows everything, who thinks he can outsmart mental management, who thinks he can outsmart negative imprints, who thinks he can consciously control his speed. And the middle of the pack is looking nice and comfy at nationals. Here's the deal. Lanny charges $500 an hour. And he will not take your money if you don't keep a journal. And that's because if he can't read a journal, he can't see your self-image. He can't see your training plan. He can't see what you're doing in training. He can't see what you're looking for a solution to. He can't see how you're thinking about the training that you're doing and the matches that you go to. He cannot see any of that. All he knows is the BS you're going to tell him. He can't see what you've written down because you didn't bother to write anything down. Okay, Lanny had a golf client who was in a 6-month slump. The guy says, Lanny, I'm doing everything you told me to do. I'm in this terrible slump. Lanny says, can I please see your journal? And the guy goes, no, because I haven't been doing it for 6 months. Do you see the coincidence there? 6-month slump, 6 months of L0, L journal O. Not a coincidence. And all of my clients too. When I got a client that calls me and says, Steve, it's not working, let's have the same conversation again. I say, okay, what have you been writing in your journal? And they say, oh, I have not been doing that. Okay? Guys, this is part of how to win the Olympics. And if you've been through mental management and you won't take 10 minutes to fill this thing out, you are doing less than what you could do to read the Olympics. Oh, but I don't know how to do it. It's so confusing. Oh, yeah, it's real confusing. It's not confusing at all. You just don't want to do it because you haven't experienced the power. And I get it because I was skeptical too until I tried it. Grown men don't keep diaries. We don't go around writing stuff down. Dear diary, I like a girl. We don't do that. But you know what we do? we make a list of things to do. That's what we do. And I'm asking you to put winning on your list. You keep a list of things to do. Why don't you put winning on the list? Well, just because I wrote it down don't mean it's going to happen. What it means is you're programming yourself as a person who can do it. Right now, it seems very far away. Right now, it seems possible, plausible, maybe not. I don't know. It's not inevitable. When you start writing it down, think about your to-do list. Your to-do list, is it possible or plausible? Or is your to-do list inevitable? I know mine is. If it doesn't get done today, I'll write it down again tomorrow. It'll eventually either get done or I'll quit writing it down because it's not important. Is that what winning is for you? Does it get transferred from today to tomorrow until it no longer becomes important? Until it no longer becomes changing your life for? And then you just quit writing it down, and you kind of forget about it. So this isn't a diary. This is a recipe book, okay? This is a place where you take the best cooking you've ever done in the hottest kitchen you've ever stood in, and you write down what you did, how you did it, and the result that you got. It's for your best recipes, your best dishes. Why would you ever document a recipe that didn't taste good? Ooh, but how good does it taste to win a stage? How great does it taste to win a match? How great does it taste? Well, I can tell you how great it tastes when two of your shooters come within 5% of a PCCGM shoot and carry optics. That feels great. That barbecue tastes good, and I want to go again. But people think the journal is for documenting mistakes. Gang, you are not going to forget your mistakes. You are not. What you're going to forget is when you got it right and what you were doing when you did. You're going to forget that. And the reason I know that is because you wouldn't be listening to this show. You wouldn't be listening to me if you could document. And I'm going to do you a big solid right here, a big old solid number 2. I'm going to help you out. Okay? Would you document disaster dinners? If you're a chef and you burned the water and everything else and everybody was all angry, you going to write that down? Well, I got to write it down so I can solve it. Really? Do you really need to write that down to know how to fix it? Would you video a fight with your spouse? Would you get into an argument with your spouse and say, honey, I would love to keep arguing with you vociferously here very shortly. However, I want to get my phone out to make sure I document every second of this marital disaster that is unfolding in front of us. I want to remember this. I really want to remember it. No, you would never video a fight with your spouse. That would be dumb. And similarly, would you ever bring it up? So let's say you had a big fight with your spouse. Days, months go by, and you're eating dinner lovingly. You're enjoying the Sam's Club pizza, and it's fantastically good for the price. And all of a sudden, you say, you know what, honey? Remember that time we came within an inch of the D? Well, it was a great fight. Let's revisit that. You would never do that. But with shooting, you'll do it all the time. So what you do with an unfortunate incident like this is you learn what you need to learn and you document the solution instead of the problem. This is counterintuitive, but it must be done. Well, Anderson, here you go again. You're going to tell me to write down myself all big and fluffy with unicorns flying out of my somehow electrically charged butt that gets weird at weird times. You're going to have me write down the best of the best and ignore my weaknesses, shortnesses, and overcomings. Shortnesses and undercomings? It doesn't matter. You're going to have me ignore everything I'm doing wrong because I'm doing a lot wrong. I'm going to write down what I did wrong. That's what I'm going to do. Well, you're becoming an expert in what you are getting wrong. Mr. Elmer Fudd commentator, you're literally learning how to screw it up. You might as well be writing the Kama Sutra for caninus intercoursus because that's what you're doing. This is every conceivable way that I can think of to screw the pooch, listed in graphic detail. And the pooch only needs one position. You're going to document every single one of them. That's what you're doing when you write down your mistakes. You're creating the Kama Sutra. I don't know if it's Karma Sutra, the Karma Chameleon Sutra. You are literally writing the Kama Sutra for caninus intercoursus. You're screwing the pooch in different languages with all sorts of graphic diagrams. Stop doing that. Instead, entertain the novel idea of documenting that elusive moment when you got it right. Don't you want to know more about that? Well, I do my best shoot when I'm not thinking I don't care. Great. We can't do, well, I can duplicate that. I can show you how. But when you drift into it, isn't that worth documenting? Well, I'll remember. No, you won't. Because it keeps happening to you. I know that because you call me and tell me that. When you're getting it right, write it down. Okay? My buddy Rich Alloway, Pennsylvania area, he has won more things than I can keep track of. And he said to me one time, he doesn't call me anymore. You know why he doesn't call me? Because he does what I tell him to do. He doesn't need to call me anymore. We don't have to have the conversation. Well, Steve, I'm doing about 75% of what you told me to do, and I'm mad because I ain't getting 100% results. He doesn't do that. The last time I spoke to him, he said, Steve, I got to tell you something. Everything in that right in my journal happens. Everything. And it can for you too, just like it is for me. Do I look a little skinnier on camera these days? Do I look a little bit more, chiseled, statuesque? I have lost 20 pounds in roughly 30 days, and I did it in the journal. I did it by writing down why I was doing it, why it was important to me, and what I was doing about it. See, I tried before, you might remember, but last time I tried to lose weight, I focused on the result and not the process. Just like some other things in my life I've screwed up, I focused on the result and not the process. Gang, your goal comes to life when you get addicted to that way of life. Oh my goodness, write that down. Your goal becomes your way of life when you get addicted to that way of life. See, I was addicted to this result that I wanted, but not the process. Now I enjoy working out so much that I've injured my foot again. Now I enjoy undereating so much that I literally look for things not to eat because I enjoy undereating. And the journal can make that change. It can make that change in your life. And now I'm grinning like an idiot again. All right, now, when you do it correctly, I gotta stress correctly, you can literally reprogram every single thought about your shooting. Every attitude you have about an individual component of your shooting career can be changed to the one that you want. Okay, attitude is a settled or established way of thinking or feeling about something that goes along with habits to create self-image. Self-image creates performance, or access to, rather. Individually, do you love strong hand shooting or do you hate it? That shows up in your performance. Weak hand shooting, do you love it or do you hate it? That shows up in your performance. Do you look forward to shooting swingers or are you afraid of shooting swingers? That shows up in your performance. And if you go out and learn how to shoot a swinger correctly, if you go out and learn to shoot strong hand only, weak hand only more effectively, you can program your attitude toward that activity, and that changed attitude is going to give you increased skill for that activity and make you a better shooter. And you can so you can do this in 10 years or 10 minutes. Literally, you can change that attitude right now. Here you go again. Tell me to blow sunshine up my keister. I never said anything of the sort. I am telling you how to do it from a man that used it to win the Olympics. Now, the FUD in my voice has never won the Olympics, right? The FUD in my voice never says, here you go, Anderson, you know it doesn't work. I'm a 10-time Olympic champion. I do dumb stuff, but I win the Olympics. It doesn't work like that. Dumb stuff doesn't win the Olympics. But imagine if you wrote this. Today, I went to practice and I learned how to shoot swingers in 2 different positions. Today, I was able to call my shots. See, this is making you feel good right now. This didn't happen to me or to you. This is like shooting erotica. This makes everybody feel good. And there's no dirty picture, so you can make it look like whatever you want. Today, I crushed the swinger by seeing my dot lift off the target. This was new for me and controlled the speed of my shots and gave me great accuracy. Today I won the match by following my mental process to a T. My buddy Matt, my roommate Matt, he sent me, I had to turn my phone off for interference. He sent me a message yesterday and he goes, I just had a 90% run on Smoke and Hope by following my process. And he followed that up with a picture of his journal where he wrote it down. Now that he has had a big win using process, and now that he's documented it, the next time he's tempted to try something dumb, he's going to remember what he wrote. Because you're reprogramming. He's reprogramming his thoughts about Smoke and Hope from grip it and rip it to execute my mental process. You see the difference? Grip and rip it is subject to certain mood. What does that mean today? Grip it and rip it. But follow my mental process, we know what that means. And so what you're doing is you're writing advice to future you. So you went to the match, you went to training, you learned something, you got it right, and you want to capture the little pixie in the woods. Okay? You want to bottle that thing up so you can get more magic out of it. So you write down what you did so you know what to do when you don't know what to do. This causes you to employ new solutions instead of old mistakes. You remember, self-image only knows what you repeat. You make things normal by repeating them. So what you do is you change the thought, you change the behavior. Repetition of the thought makes the behavior normal, and bam, you get a new behavior. You get a new skill. You get a new way to look at the sport. You get to crush things instead of crushing your own self-image, right? And then you're going to make decisions about your process before you are forced to do so. I got a call from a young man at a match. We did some online mental management. We did some coaching. He said, Steve, I got a question. I got a reshoot. What do I do? I said, you tell me what to do. We covered this. I know, but what about the time? How do I duplicate the time? How many times have you done that? Shot it in 18 seconds, got a reshoot. Oh, I got to shoot it in 17.5. How'd that go for you when you tried that? So I told this young man, do you know what you did? He said, yeah, I ran over here, ran over there. I said, no. What did you do? Well, I programmed the stage, and I visualized it numerous times. And then when the timer went off, I put my dot in the middle of the target. Okay, young man, can you do that again? Of course I can. And of course he did, because he knows what he did. I don't know this sounds counterintuitively simple to you. I get it. But if you knew what to do every time the timer went off, you would not be listening to this program, because you'd be doing your own program. You would be dwarfing my influence on the shooting community by saying, I know how to do it, but you're not, because you don't know, because you're not documenting it, you're not writing it down, so you're making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And you're remembering those mistakes instead of remembering some other things. When you do journaling about shooting a training, you demonstrate that I feel like I'm holding this like a cocktail. This, like I'm gesturing wildly with my cocktail. It's just water, I promise. So in training, you can document that you're doing the work. It's one thing to know you might be outworking somebody. It's quite another to feel and believe and be convinced that you are doing more work than anybody else. This means you deserve to win your class or your match because you are doing the work. And the word deserve is very, very powerful. If I do enough work to deserve a great performance, I can't be afraid of winning. Oh, nobody's afraid of winning. Yes, you are. You're afraid of saying out loud, I intend to win A-class at nationals because I'm doing the work, because I'm becoming the best A-class shooter in the country. Here's how I'm doing it. Here's what I'm doing when I'm shooting for score to give me great access to my skill. This demonstrates that I deserve to win A-class. And it also demonstrates you're becoming the person that can achieve it. See, we think that the top guys, okay, Jay Beal, let's use Jay Beal as an example. We think there's something different about Jay Beal. Jay Beal is a human being that can do things. And when you learn to do JBL things, you can do JBL things. But you're not going to get them on the internet. You're not going to get them sitting behind the keyboard. You're not going to get them scrolling through your phone. You're going to get them by putting on the gear and getting to work. And if you write down what you did, you write down how you did it. Hell, I was dry firing here in the kitchen just this morning. Refrigerator door, bag of onions for the stop plate. It's the left side of Smoke and Hope. And I learned something. I learned that when I transition to the stop plate, I need to have that trigger prepped. And I wasn't always doing it. So here I am, dry firing in my little makeshift office at the bar. Fridge door, which is funny because I call them refrigerators, the big plates in Steel Challenge. I literally call them refrigerators, and now I'm dry firing on them. Refrigerator, bag of onions. Ooh, I need to be prepping the trigger. So later today, I'm going to write down trigger prep during transitions gives me a quicker shot to the stop plate. So that when I get to my next match, I'm going to remember to prep that trigger. And maybe more importantly in training, I'm going to remember to make that a priority because I just learned it makes me faster. If I'd just been sitting there screwing around on a refrigerator and a bag of onions, I might not remember the importance of prepping the trigger on the stop plate. Okay? So, all you have to do to achieve your goal is live like the person that can do it. And I actually did this on my quest to USPSA Grandmaster. I didn't know anything about mental challenge specifically, certainly nowhere near what I knew now. And at the time, I didn't know anything about it. But that's the point about mental management. You are subject to those laws even if you don't know them. Lanny Basham did not invent it. He cracked it. He discovered it. He hacked it. But let's look at what I was doing. I was training relentlessly with positive imprints. Okay? My skill level was high. And I wasn't worried about the results because I was having so much fun. That takes care of self-image. I'm not worried about the results. Okay? And I'm kind of controlling my thoughts because I'm letting it be really simple. See, I learned something. As soon as I got my first open gun, I learned something. Are you ready for the ultimate in vision technology training? Not even Keita Bussey from 180 Firearms Training at the height of her vision training knows this. The bullet goes where the dot is. And it never occurred to me to shoot the open gun before the dot was in the middle of the target. That was never an idea that I had. Like, I was never going along going, you know what? I've given myself a pretty savory upgrade to a dot from iron sights, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to choose to shoot this gun with my dot someplace other than where I want the bullet to go. I'm just going to go ahead and do that because, I mean, why would I use the dot? Gentlemen, if you don't have the patience to put your dot in the middle of the target, why even turn it on? Okay, but I digress. So, the question I asked myself, how does a grandmaster live? I didn't know, but I could make some assumptions. So when I come to critical junctures in my conjunction, function, I don't know. When I come to a fork in the road, I ask myself a question. Okay, 6:30, 7 o'clock, I got home from work. I could crack a beer and sit on the couch, or I could go dry fire. I wonder what a grandmaster would do. He'd probably go dry fire. So I began living like I thought a grandmaster lived. And C-class shooters, I hate to tell you this, but you guys all live the same. You practice a little bit when you want to. You probably spend more time on the internet reading about shooting and arguing about shooting than you do with the rig on. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in C-class. How does a national champion live? Well, I know several of them, and I've trained them. They don't live the way a C-class shooter lives. They live differently. Okay? National champion, grandmaster, these are unreasonable goals that must inspire unreasonable change. Oh, I got to get myself a nice, reasonable, comfortable goal that I can get to. Well, what you're doing is you're asking for a change in results without a change in behavior. Now, you really are. You are the one. If you're doing that, if you're hoping to win your class or get a bump without doing the work, you are the one looking for a participation trophy, not me. I'm looking for a level of participation trophy, not a participation trophy. But if you think you can cruise through C class and into B class and A class without drastically changing your lifestyle and how you live, well, that's why you're still there. Okay? Reasonable goals inspire reasonable change. So once again, 20 pounds in 30 days, I did some unreasonable things. I lived on salad. The biggest gain I ever make was living on salad. Wow, living on salad ain't no fun. Well, being chubby ain't no fun either. But 10 days of eating nothing but salad with a little bit of protein and sauce on tape, the weight just falls off. So it changed my behavior. I decided I wanted something, identified why I wanted it, what I was going to do about it. I wrote it down, and now I'm accountable for it because I'm looking at a to-do list. Eat salad for dinner, not half a pizza. Maybe skip the nachos. Maybe cut back on the beer a little bit. All you got to do is want something new more than let me try that again. All you got to do is want something new more than what you're currently doing. And writing it down brings it to life in a way that you are not going to believe until you try it. And here's why. Thinking, writing, and talking about the goal makes it normal. The repetition of those ideas causes the new ideas to be normal ideas. And your pay value has got to make the goal inevitable. The only thing I can't tell you is how long it's going to take. And if you're interested in doing it quickly, that's okay, but you can't do it quickly by wanting to do it quickly. A deadline is only useful if level of participation can be dramatically increased. Dramatically increased. If it's got to be this year, then you better hit it with everything you've got. Because if you don't drastically raise your level of skill before this deadline, you are going to overtry in competition. You're going to. Because you won't believe you can do it, which is the only reason we overtry. Guys, we only overtry when we don't believe our current level of skill is sufficient for the goal that we want. We're literally worried about the results. And worrying about the results is what causes overtrying. Okay? So, regarding your goal, thinking, writing, and talking about the goal and the steps you are taking make it normal. It changes your behavior. Now, you may be thinking of your goal as possible or plausible. Well, get used to it because it's going to stay that way for a very long time. You must make it inevitable so that it's just a matter of time. Talking about it provides accountability. I tell everybody I meet, hey, Steve, I heard you're back in the game. And I go, people keep asking me if I'm back. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm back. So I tell people, I'm going to be a Steel Challenge GM. I don't know how long it's going to take, and I really don't care because it's going to happen. It is inevitable. The talking provides the accountability. Somebody says, hey, Anderson, thought you were going to be a Steel GM. I'm just not there yet. Don't you worry. I'll meet you there. Just not sure what time. Got some other stuff to do. Writing increases the power of the imprint. Why do you think taking notes in a class works so well? You get into a class and you're taking notes, you're remembering things, and you're like, wow, I really know this. That's because writing increases your exposure to the content. You hear something you think is important, you go, oh, that's important. There's one imprint. Then you have to rephrase it in your own words. That's 2. You have to physically write it. That's 3. And then you read it back. That's 4. And if you're only thinking about your goal, you're at about 30% of what you could be doing. Goals become inevitable when you think about them, talk about them, and write about them. If you only think about them, that's 30%. And here's the real trouble. It's not even really 30% because those thoughts are not all of inevitability. Those thoughts are of possibility or plausibility. I need them to be of inevitability. That's what I need. Okay? And that's an example of controlling thoughts. Controlling thought is the centerpiece of mental management. That might be why mental management means managing the mind. Okay? Before you shoot, while you shoot, after you shoot, you must control your thinking. Before you shoot, after you shoot, while you shoot. Train. Before you train, while you're training, after you train, you must control what you're thinking about. But the journal controls your thoughts away from the gun. And that's a lot of when the damage is done. Yeah, maybe you feel good when you're training, but what about when you put it up? What about when you go to work the next morning? Are your thoughts of success are you thinking about the one reload out of 100 that wasn't perfect? So the journal controls your thoughts of shooting away from the shooting. It's an easy way to work on shooting away from the range. If you're on a lunch break or a business trip, you can't get to the gun. You can get to your mental game. And the journal is your mental game Bible that you carry around with you. If you can't go to church, you take the Bible with you. And it only takes about 10 minutes a day to work on what you're going to tell me is 75% of the sport. And if you think the mental game is worth 75% of the sport and you are not willing to spend 10 minutes a day working on the 75% of the sport, I've got to question your intelligence or your enthusiasm or something, right? Because a new thought, by definition, is a controlled thought. For example, hey, I could be a national champion. Well, that's a new thought. I had to conjure that up. I had to make myself say that. So after a while, this controlled thought becomes normal. Repetition means, oh, this is what I think about the idea of being a national champion. I do this a lot. I wrote it down. It's becoming normal to think that I'm a human being that could be a national champion. Repetition causes it to be normal. And whatever you choose to think about your skills, collectively and individually determine access to those skills. Okay? How you feel about strong hand shooting, how you feel about hoser stages, how you feel about technical stages with swingers. Those thoughts of ability determine your access to those skills to the extent that you have them. And by the way, it's the same exact thing with stage planning. Your opinion of your stage plan is more important than your plan. Your opinion of your stage plan is more important than your plan. Unless you're so new, you're still doing dumb stuff. And think about the journal, gang. It is a big part of how to win the Olympics. And if I could sell you a program of how to become a national champion, what percentage of it would you do? Would you do 100? I know that's true. So I know that's not true because I only have a handful of clients that are doing 100%. Everybody else is doing the parts that they like. Okay? So if I could sell you and by the way, I can sell you a program that will make you a national champion if you do it all. You're not going to do it all the first time. You're going to think you can outsmart it because everybody does. And then you're going to come back to me and you're going to say, okay, I'm ready to do it all. I just got one of those letters yesterday. I am now ready to do it all. Well, good. We've been waiting for you. Let's do it. And why would you want, so if you're not willing to do 100% of how I'm going to tell you to win nationals, would you do less than 100% of how Lanny Basham tells you to win the Olympics? Because this is part of it. It's the real secret to winning when you do it right. Because training can only get you to the middle of the pack and will keep you there forever without controlling your thoughts and fixing your self-image. Right? Anybody can get to the middle of the pack of any class nationally, including the super squad. You can train that hard and do it, but you'll never, ever get to the top without a better self-image. You just won't. Okay? I used the journal, so I had about 2 weeks to prepare for my first Steel Challenge match. And I dove head first into the journal with a much greater commitment than I had in the past because I know it's the way. I have new ideas. Hey, Anderson's a competitor now. He's not retired anymore. He's a competitor. What kind of competitor is he? He's the best competitor on the range. Oh, I can control that. Is he the best Steel Challenge shooter? I don't know. Some ranges maybe, some ranges not, but I'm always the best competitor. Because I know that self-image is a filter for subconscious skill. And the journal is the best way, fastest way, and bestest way to improve self-image when you did this correctly. And the reason you can't outsmart it is because nobody invented it. It's in our human DNA. Repetition of thought causes it to become normal, which causes that behavior to become normal because we behave like we think. If you want to behave a different way, shoot a different way, you got to force yourself in the beginning to think a different way. Lanny discovered this. When Lanny talked to gold medalists between 1972 and 1976, he discovered that these people were doing these things. They didn't really know what they were doing or why they were doing it, but he noticed some similarities. Hey, this guy's writing his goals down. Hey, this guy's writing down his training. Hey, this guy's documenting what happens when he gets it right. These are smart ideas. Okay? I want to prove it to you. Okay? Listen to this. Okay. Daily dry fire. In the basement. Conditions are basementy. Today I learned the fake yawn, quiet eye, and loose muscles provide the epitome of hyperbole in presentation. Effortless excellence. Today I learned that 2 mental reps for each physical rep makes me faster and more precise. Today I'm looking for a solution to nothing because I have all the answers. Today I shot 99% clean runs in match conditions. My process is codified and bulletproof, yawning, visualizing, quiet eyeing, and using my point of focus. Today my draws were fast, effortless, and precise. Well, that sounds pretty useful. Like, do I want to go to a match thinking my draws are fast, effortless, and precise? That sounds pretty awesome. Okay? Rimfire presentations are quick and accurate with a quiet eye stare. Today, my mental reps contributed to my speed as I relaxed my hands and arms with right arm at 90%. It was perfect. So I go to the match. My last thought about my training is today my mental reps contributed to my speed as I relaxed my hands and arms with my right arm at 90%. Perfect. Do I need to do that to you one more time? I am becoming a Steel Challenge Grandmaster. Here's a match that I shot. My objective, produce a winning performance, center the dot, and call the shot. I learned I shoot my best when I'm bored. My lazy stare is Cobra-like. I learned to buy match ammo that works in the cold. I learned to zero at 35 yards. Today I learned to shoot bored and was able to quiet eye all day. Today I learned that hand warmers in the gun is good, and I can chalk the gun in the holster. Today I learned that yawning produces the boredom that makes me a cobra. Today I learned to get even better at shot calling. I'm looking for a solution to more reliable rimfire ammo, so you know what I did? I went and bought some. Okay? Today I was within 2 seconds of a masterclass shooter. I shot so bored. Today I impressed the peanut gallery on several occasions with my current level of skill. Today I prepared well for chilly weather. Today I had smooth, precise draws by being bored and yawning. Today I trusted my speed and got 100% of my current level of skill. Today I got inspired to work even harder. Today I produced a winning performance with a now proven process. I know how to do this every single time. I am becoming a Steel Challenge Grandmaster. Does this sound pretty good to you? Daily dry fire, location, bedroom, conditions warm. Design and execute core Steel Challenge dry fire drills. Today I learned my surrender draw is sheer fire and subconsciously reliable. So, when I read this prior to a match, my last thought is, my surrender draw is sheer fire and subconsciously reliable. Now, what is that going to do to the invasive or intrusive thought that could happen on the way to the match? Number one, that's much less likely. Number two, if I do get a blip of an invasive or intrusive thought, the last thing I thought about, today I learned my surrender draw is sheer fire and subconsciously reliable. Great draws were at 99%. Quiet eye is very helpful. Today I learned I can get my support hand on the gun sooner. See, I didn't write down support hand is late getting to the gun. Today I wrote, I can get my support hand to the gun sooner. Today I learned I can hear a .5 par time and beat it with rimfire, looking for a solution to nothing. Today I had 99% great draws, shot 2 plates in 1.4 seconds repeatedly by letting them be subconscious. Today I had excellent rimfire presentations with many under .5, which is a personal best. Today I did the work that others will not. Today I had sub-second first shots on everything with good sight pictures. Today I crushed it. I am becoming a Steel GM. I have not been able to dry fire because of my foot. I was trying to do it, and that was aggravating the injury. I think I have the plantar fasciitis. My nurse tells me that. That's what we think it is right now, and it's getting better every day. But I've learned that more is not always better. So that's kind of how I live. If some is good, more is better, more. Well, in this case, more training was aggravating my foot a little bit. So I got to back off a little bit, got to ice it, got to elevate it. So I'm doing that. But my point is, I just reset every single thought that I have about my shooting by reading what I lived before I had to take a slight break from normal dry fire. See how that works? Do you believe it yet? And I would ask you to go back and listen to that again, that testimonial I just gave you. Analyze how it makes you feel. You didn't do any of those things. That's not you, that's me. But it made you feel good. It inspired you. Imagine if you could inspire yourself the same way that I just inspired you. So if you're willing to take it to the next level, if you're ready to understand the real secret to winning, here's what I want you to do. Go to mentalmanagement.com, order several journals, order 3 of them. Use promo code capital S Anderson 10. It'll look like Sanderson 10, Sanderson 10 with a capital S. It's going to get you 10% off your journal. Okay? Lanny will autograph it for him if you ask him to. But when you get it, it must be written by hand. Must be written by hand. It's because, number one, you can't jam the journal into your computer, and you can't jam it into a typewriter. I'm just going to put it in my phone. No, you will. It won't work as well, but it's better than nothing. You type on your phone all day. It's impersonal, and it's typical of your day. Handwriting is more personal, emotional, thoughtful, and expressive. And I'll show you. Look what I wrote here. Okay? I have the best mental game in the world. I have the best mental game in the world. I wrote that nice and big. Okay? Today, I crushed it. It's a great feeling. Today, I crushed it. That didn't happen today, but I feel just like I did on the day that I wrote, today, I crushed it. Okay? Get your journal and then learn how to do it. So we have some classes coming up. March 27th at 1 p.m., 7 p.m., and 9 p.m. on journaling. Go to andersonshooting.com, upcoming classes. March 26th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, weight loss and lifestyle change. I'm qualified to teach it. I promise you. I promise you. April 9, 16, and 23, mental management at 1 p.m., 7 p.m., and 9 p.m. Go to upcoming classes at andersonshooting.com to see those and sign up. Nampa, Idaho, we still have a sponsor slot for that class, March 15th and 16th. If you're anywhere near Nampa, Idaho, and you want a free class, all you got to do is pick me up at the airport, drive me around, and give me a cot and a blanket and something to eat. Okay? Virginia, IDPA plus mental management, March 22 and 23rd, still some spots. And my brand new classifier skills at Bud's Gun Shop in Salyerville, Tennessee, April 19th and 20th. And then, of course, we have the very first Anderson Insiders meeting, April the 2nd, 1 at noon and 1 at 7. Email me for the link. You insiders will be getting the link very shortly, but if you just can't wait to get the link, email me and just ask for the insider meeting link, and I'll send that to you. Okay? All right, and one more time, I want to tell you what Keita and I were able to accomplish with, like, literally the polar opposite of training. 2 A-class shooters beat every pistol shooter, including the open guys that were shooting major, and these guys came within 5% of a PCC grandmaster after 4 days with Steve Anderson and Keita Bussey. She handles movement and math, I handle the mechanics and the mental game, and they fit together so well that the results amazed even us. We've seen everything on the range, and the results of this collaboration are unbelievable. If you want to get on that, you email me or you email her, 180firearmstraining@gmail.com, and we will do this class for you, and you will reach your massive potential. All right, hope you enjoyed today's program. As always, it is my pleasure to bring it to you one word at a time. So until we meet, and by the way, Anderson Insiders, I just did a massive document dump for the show prep. I think I put a year and a half of show prep on there. My ex-wife was supposed to be doing it and maybe did not, so I did a massive document dump today on show prep, so go check that out. But once again, until we meet again, be like me, do what I do, say it with me, 1, 2, 3, love you, bye, and get to work.